expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Brother Mike is back on the radio. It's 2019. Can you believe it? Welcome to the radio program. Today's Bible study, Satanic Soul Ties. We've got to get yours broken for 2019. Here's an example of one that's really bad. Hey, will you call somebody and tell the radio program's on? This is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center, Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. HardcoreChristianity.com is the website. We made a couple of changes this year. We canceled our Saturday healing room. We had tremendous response to it. So we moved it to Thursday nights at 7 o'clock in the small sanctuary at the Arizona Deliverance Center at 7 p.m. We also have our two services each week, Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. That's 7 p.m. Mountain Time during the winter and Pacific Time during the summer. Both of those services are on our YouTube live streaming channel. You can sign up for our monthly free seminars when you come to the website or check out the radio archives. You can send us another donation on PayPal. Muchas gracias for your support of the ministry. Last year, we broke every record. Last year, just like we did the year before, it was tremendous. Record number of deliverances, record number of healings, record numbers of offerings and tithes. Thank you so very much. As you know, I don't take a salary for the ministry. I work for free, so to speak, and all the money that I would earn as a professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center, I donate back into the ministry 100%. And thank you for your kind support, and thank you for all the listings you sent Sister Karen. She's on the homepage of the website, selling your houses for you. Satanic Soul Ties. I chose an extreme one for you today. Kind of an extreme one, but I'm using it to illustrate my spiritual point. You know about the Chris Watts case. It's the Colorado murder case that was quite literally unbelievable. But if you know anything about the devil, this was not unbelievable. Chris Watts murdered his pregnant wife, Shannon. He had just gotten back from a trip to Arizona, and they got into some kind of a fight. He strangled her to death. He smothered both of his two daughters. They were little. One was a toddler and one was a semi-toddler. And as you know, he was having an affair with another woman. And before that, he'd been having an affair with another man. So he was bisexual, heavily infected with demons, and initially claimed that his wife had killed the two daughters, and that after she killed him, he flew into a rage and then strangled her. Everybody claimed that she was a verbally abusive mother to him. All kinds of weird stories coming out, and it was quite literally horrible. A drone found the two bodies of the children. They had been dumped in a giant oil tanker at his work. She was buried in a shallow grave there. I mean, it was absolutely awful. And he was sentenced he got 3 life sentences. One for the mother, one for the daughter, and one for the other daughter. Should have been 4 because he killed his unborn child. He should have had 4 life sentences, but it's neither here nor there. He's never getting out of prison. He has no possibility of parole. But here's an interesting article that came out subsequently. Apparently he's been gorging on fast food and sweets while he's been in prison. But here is another interesting thing. Apparently he is getting a chronic avalanche of love letters. He is getting love letters. The letters are written predominantly by young women. They've been pouring in to his prison since he was sentenced. It's unbelievable. Women are incredibly attracted to this guy. He was a handsome guy. His wife was also a beautiful woman. And he's a buff guy, and most of these young women found him extremely attractive. One of the women wrote him a letter, Tanya. She wrote, quote, "I find myself thinking a lot about you." And she sent him a picture of herself in a bikini. Um, Another woman named Candace wrote him a love letter, said, quote, "In my heart, I know you are a great guy. If you do write me back, I'd be the happiest girl alive, that's for sure." Another girl named Hannah wrote him a love letter and said, quote, "I'm hoping to brighten your days. I feel this connection to you," Hannah wrote. Uh-huh. And then these kinds of cases, as you can imagine, are fairly frequent. These are not unusual cases, believe it or not. It happened to Charles Manson. It happened to a number of murderers that went to prison. This is fairly common. And the reason for it is basically two things. Number one, demons. Number two, low self-esteem among the women. And what typically happens with these women, they're engaging in a fictitious romance that's born out of their emotional needs, the emptiness that they have in their soul, and the spectacular events surrounding the crime. There's a surge of adrenaline there, and then there's this deep-seated need for love. What these women typically do, in my experience as a counselor, they create a fantasy life for themselves, and they pretend in their minds, sometimes it's a sensual relationship. They fantasize while they're masturbating that they have a relationship with these criminals behind bars. And it's very similar to the emotional, deep-seated needs of women who constantly are attracted to bad boys. They like the adrenaline rush. They have a deep-seated need of love and attention and excitement. They usually have rejection issues, low self-esteem, low self-concept, and that's why they're kind of attracted to bad men. It happens very often in spousal abuse cases where the person goes back to their abuser after they've been sold a bill of goods that they've decided to change. But what's really going on here is also something very important spiritually I wanted to share with you. I have seen a number of these people delivered over the years, and it's because they have developed a satanic soul tie. There is a satanic soul tie, and here's how it works. The spirit inside the person attracts the other person to them. And if that person yields to that attraction, there's a transfer of spirits. And there's now a deep spiritual connection between the spirits in the one person that are connected to the spirits in the other. For example, King David developed a soul tie with Bathsheba, and he could not get out of it. And this demonic, satanic soul tie between the two of them led to a series of lies and spousal murder. King David had literally, to use a slang term, lost his mind. And he developed a permanent soul tie to Bathsheba. And after he murdered her husband, he marries her. And they stayed together the rest of his life. She outlived King David. You can develop satanic soul ties to other people, and it's when their spirits, their demons, are similar to the ones that transferred into you when you yielded to the sin of the relationship. These women have satanic soul ties for Watts, and they cannot forget him. They cannot let him go. They can't stop it now. And this is a powerful force that pulls people into bad relationships. It pulls them back into bad relationships that they should have left alone. Soul ties are extremely dangerous. There are positive soul ties, sometimes between husband and wife, sometimes between parents and children. For example, King David and Jonathan, they had a positive soul tie. But you can also develop a satanic soul tie where you have what appears to be an uncontrollable desire for the other person. It's an uncontrollable urge, and it's because you picked up a transfer spirit from the other person. This went on with Charles Manson for literally decades. The Menendez brothers in prison in California, who shot their parents in the head with shotguns, had a laundry list of women who were soul ties attracted to them. One of them even married one of the brothers. I can't remember if the other one got married either. But these demonic soul ties pop up in regular people's lives, not murderers, not killers, not crooks, not thieves, church people. You go to the church and you find, oh my God, it was love at first sight. And what happened to the relationship? It turned out to be a disaster. Even though, quote, somebody at church gave you a word that God told you were supposed to be with that person, and it turns into a hellish nightmare. It's because it wasn't God talking to you, it was a familiar spirit impersonating the Lord through that other person, told you that you should be with that person. It was actually a demonic soul tie. 602-636-5800. Deliverance will free you from a soul tie to someone that you know you should not be with. You know you should not have ever been with them. You can be delivered. All you have to do is call that number. We'll be happy to pray for you. I've seen dozens of people healed of demonic, satanic soul ties over the years. God wants you to be free. He will forgive you for what you did. He will forgive you for the mistakes you made. And He will release you from that soul tie and remove those spirits so you can live a powerful Christian life.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.